Let's be brutally honest here. When your brand new holiday special gets ranked below children's cartoons, the universe isn't just hinting at something, it's shouting in your face. And Meghan Markle? Oh, honey, she didn't just miss that sign. She tripped over it, slipped on her own storyline, and landed face first in a snowbank of pure embarrassment. Netflix didn't just sideline her, they handed her a cold, glittering slap of humiliation so icy it could freeze the royal corgis mid-bark. Imagine pouring your heart into a Christmas special, dreaming of that magical, glowing comeback moment only for Netflix to casually slide it beneath animated penguins and a talking potato show. That's not rejection, darling. That's annihilation with a candy cane bow. And the worst part? Oh, it wasn't even the ranking. Buried inside that frosty fiasco was a mistake so wild, so jaw-droppingly obvious, it cracked open the door to the biggest Meghan Markle exposé of the year. So grab your cocoa, clutch your gingerbread cookies, and settle in because this holiday story doesn't sparkle. It shatters. It all started the very moment Meghan's special aired. Viewers blinked, squinted, leaned in. Wait, is that? No way. It is. There, wagging his tail, happy as ever, was Guy Meghan's beloved beagle. The same dog she told the world had died. Yes, that guy. Months before, Meghan posted a tear-streaked message about losing him. It was dramatic, emotional, soaked in sorrow, the kind of post that floods with 20 crying emojis and virtual hugs. According to Meghan, Guy had passed away in January. But whispers said otherwise. Some insiders swore it happened way back in October. Either way, the world grieved with her. But suddenly there he was, alive, on screen, tail wagging, breathing, being filmed. And Meghan acted like it was totally normal, not even a blink. That's when people started connecting dots that didn't fit. If Guy truly passed before the special aired, and if Meghan had just finished filming this year, then how in the world did a dead dog walk right into the shot? That wasn't a tiny mix-up. That was a scandal-sized continuity crack, the kind that turns a project into a headline and a headline into a meme. Meghan, of course, did what she always does. She smiled, moved on, and hoped nobody noticed. But, oh, sweetheart, people noticed. And that's when things went from messy to career-ending levels of drama. For years, Meghan had been building her post-royal empire brick by brick with Netflix as her shining castle. It was her big comeback, her golden Hollywood ticket, her stage to prove she didn't need the palace spotlight anymore. Netflix gave her the deal, the money, the trust, the chance to finally show the world she could deliver. But here's the truth whispered through Hollywood corridors. Meghan hasn't stepped inside Netflix HQ for months. Not for meetings, not for updates, not even for a polite, "Hey, how's everyone doing?" Why? Because, allegedly, Netflix didn't renew the contract. Not paused, not renegotiated. Canceled. That holiday special was reportedly her final shot, her last opportunity to show she could craft something real, compelling, and professional. But what did they get? A strange, meandering storyline, an impossible timeline, a resurrected dog, and Meghan sipping cider alone before the party even started. Netflix doesn't do pity. Netflix does numbers. And Meghan's special? It gave them none. Executives were confused. The reviews were brutal. Viewers clicked out faster than a buffering ad. The ranking sank lower and lower until even the cartoons waddled past. And just like that, Netflix didn't issue statements. They didn't make a scene. They just closed the door quietly. Because in Hollywood, silence is the coldest kind of goodbye. Now, let's step into that special itself. Meghan's supposed glittering comeback, her cinematic redemption moment. Except instead of sparkle, it flickered like a broken fairy light gasping for one last blink. The very first frame felt off. Meghan wasn't glowing with cozy Christmas warmth. She looked tense, sipping cider with that forced grin you wear when you're trying to convince yourself you're happy. She was already drinking before a single guest showed up. Imagine turning on a holiday show and the host greets you halfway through her mug saying, "Well, it's just me. Cheers, I guess." And the set? Oh dear. It looked like a tornado had danced through Sephora and taken a nap on her couch. Hair everywhere, stray strands glinting under the lights like confetti from a breakdown. Even her speech drifted soft. Slurred in parts like she was floating between sentences without any traffic lights in her mind. It wasn't charming. It wasn't festive. It was awkward. Painfully awkward. This was the big project she'd hyped for months, the one meant to dazzle executives and silence critics. But it looked more like someone hit record while she was still rehearsing her emotions. And if you think that's bad, buckle up, because the guest list was a red flag all on its own. A holiday special should feel like family, laughter, teasing, old stories, real chemistry. But Meghan's guests? Mostly strangers. Smiling, polite, red carpet-ready strangers. She didn't invite lifelong friends. Not childhood buddies. Not even her best friend she name drops in interviews. Instead, the room buzzed with awkward energy like a cocktail party where everyone's waiting for permission to leave. Even Prince Harry barely appeared. That silence spoke louder than any Christmas carol. When your own husband skips your big project, it's not scheduling, it's symbolism. Insiders whispered that Harry saw the chaos coming. He didn't want to stand beside a sinking ship on camera. And oh, the symbolism of it all, because what Meghan tried to sell as togetherness ended up exposing her isolation. She doesn't have the close-knit circle she projects. She has contacts, acquaintances, people who show up for optics, not intimacy. The laughter on screen didn't sparkle, it echoed. The kind of echo that bounces around a room too big for one person's ego. And that loneliness, it bled into her next big mistake. You see, Meghan tried to sprinkle her special with British holiday nostalgia, her so-called favorite traditions. She smiled, spoke softly, described carols and mince pies and quaint customs, but the details were off, wildly off. Her version of British holiday magic sounded less like real memories and more like a mashup of Pinterest captions, old tea ads, and maybe one random episode of The Crown. And this from the same woman who once called Britain cold, racist, and unwelcoming. But now, she was suddenly Little Miss Mary Britannia, praising the charm, the culture, the coziness, all the things she once ran from. It was like watching someone brag about their grandma's secret recipe while holding a frozen store-bought pie. The disconnect was blinding, because Meghan doesn't just rewrite stories, she rewrites herself, over and over. But when you keep rewriting, darling, you forget the earlier drafts. And that's exactly what happened next. Let's talk about Kelly McKee, Meghan's so-called best friend. Meghan paints their bond like it's soul deep, but reality tells a different story. If Kelly was truly her ride or die, why wasn't she invited to the royal wedding? People invited their baristas to that thing. Yet Kelly didn't even make the waiting list. So what changed? Sources whisper it began after Kelly's heartbreak, the tragic loss of her son, George. Meghan reportedly reached out instantly. Suddenly, the friendship became very public, almost performative. Some say Meghan was being compassionate. Others say she saw an opportunity to attach herself to a powerful, emotional narrative. It wouldn't be the first time. And here's the real twist. Kelly and Meghan didn't even meet through some magical Hollywood bond. They met through Trevor Ingleson, Meghan's ex-husband, the same man she erases from her story whenever convenient. Trevor even supported Kelly's charity long before Meghan appeared in the picture. So, was Kelly truly a lifelong best friend? Or a strategic connection rebranded for sympathy optics? The special gave away the answer. Meghan looks surrounded, yet utterly alone. Because when the camera cuts and the crew goes home, she doesn't seem to have that tribe she keeps talking about, the ones who love her without lights or lenses. And maybe, deep down, that's the emptiest part of all. Ever since Meghan walked out of the palace gates, she's reinvented herself like clockwork. First, the brave truth teller. Then, the podcast queen. Then, the Hollywood producer, the feminist speaker, the lifestyle guru, the documentary darling, the holiday storyteller. But every reinvention fizzled out faster than the last. Spotify? Gone early. Netflix? Silent. Brand deals? Minimal. Public speeches? Forgotten. Her big Hollywood glow-up faded into background noise. And this holiday special was supposed to be her final, shining redemption, the one that proved the doubters wrong. Instead, it became her most public undoing. Because reinvention isn't evolution when you're running from yourself. And by the end, Meghan wasn't stepping into new roles, she was escaping old ones. Which brings us to the end of this frosted fairy tale. That holiday special wasn't just another show, it was a mirror. A mirror Meghan couldn't control. It reflected every contradiction, every performance, every quiet truth she thought she'd buried. There was the dog she mourned alive on film, the British culture she mocked suddenly praised, the strangers she called friends sitting in seats meant for ghosts, the endless reinventions crumbling like tinsel under real light. For 5 years, Meghan has been running. From the palace, from criticism, from her own reflection. But this time, she ran out of script. Netflix is done. The audience moved on. The ranking sits frozen below cartoons. And there she stands alone, in the glow of a single flickering bulb, realizing the story doesn't bend anymore. Because when the cameras stop, when the reinventions fade, who is Meghan Markle without the narrative? This wasn't just the end of her Netflix era, it was the start of her reckoning. And darling, if this chapter ends in humiliation, the next one, whatever it becomes, will be explosive. Because Meghan's story might be falling apart, but her drama? Oh, that's still premium content. But the part that truly broke the illusion came after the camera stopped rolling. Word around Hollywood is that Meghan didn't stick around for the wrap-up celebration. She reportedly left the set early, silent, tight-lipped, her team scrambling behind her like snowflakes in a blizzard. Some insiders said she was furious about how it all looked on playback. Others whispered she was heartbroken because deep down, she knew it, the magic she imagined just wasn't there. That night, when the crew shared behind-the-scenes photos online, fans noticed something chilling. Everyone smiled except Meghan. Her face looked frozen in that strange half-smile that screams, "I'm fine," when you're clearly not. And the comments? Brutal. People said she looked lost, lonely, almost robotic, like she wasn't living the moment, just performing it. Then came the ratings. Overnight, Netflix analytics told the tale. The numbers plummeted. The special didn't even trend for a day. Not in the US, not in the UK, not anywhere. That's when people realized this wasn't just another flop. It was the final nail in the coffin of Meghan's Hollywood fairy tale. Behind closed doors, executives who once greeted her with champagne reportedly began declining meetings. Invitations vanished. Collaborators distanced themselves quietly, carefully. It wasn't anger, it was fatigue. The industry had grown tired of the Meghan Markle show, and as Christmas lights dimmed and headlines faded, one image remained: Meghan standing under a glittering tree, cider glass trembling, smile wavering, trying desperately to hold together the version of herself the world no longer believed in. Because for the first time, she wasn't the heroine or the victim, just a woman watching her spotlight fade into the snow.